Lesson 7-8, understand the y-intercept of a line. In this lesson, you're going to learn how to find the y-intercept of a graph and explain what it means. Example 1. Determine the y-intercept of a relationship. Matilda and her friend are going bowling. She can rent shoes at the bowling alley or use her mother's old bowling shoes. How can she determine how much money she will save if she brings her mother's old bowling shoes? So take a look over here at the bowling prices. We see the prices for the games, and they include shoe rental. So the first thing that we should look for is what kind of pattern we can see in the table to indicate the cost of a game of bowling, not including the shoe rental. Typically, when we look at a table like this, we see one game is $4, and we automatically assume that every game has to be $4. But as you examine more data from the table, you'll notice that $8 will pay for 3 games, $12 will pay for 5 games, and $22 will pay for 10 games. So is each game really $4? And the answer is no. But we can use the information that we are given in the table in order to determine the cost for one game of bowling. So let's do that. Step 1 says to write the number of games and the cost as ordered pairs. Graph the ordered pairs and then find the slope to determine the cost of each game. So when you look at the ordered pairs, we're taking those from the table. The number of games is along the x-axis, and the total cost is the y-axis. So one game of bowling was $4. 3 games of bowling cost $8. 5 games of bowling cost $12. And 10 games of bowling cost $22. And you'll notice that they connected the points between them. To determine the cost for just a game of bowling, not including the cost of shoes, we're going to find the slope by subtracting our y-coordinates, subtracting our x-coordinates, and dividing. And what you'll notice is that between any 2 points on the line, the rise over run ratio is 2, which means the slope is 2. And the cost of each game must be $2. Looking at step 2, we can see how to extend the line where we've already connected our points to show where it crosses the y-axis. The y-coordinate of the point where the line crosses the y-axis is called the y-intercept. Think about that as being the intersection of the y-axis. Since we connect those points and we know that the line crosses at 0, 2, because 0 games of bowling still cost $2 for shoe rental. So that means that Matilda saves $2 if she brings her mother's old bowling shoes. Remember, in a problem like this, because there's a shoe rental fee, you have to pay that before you even step foot into the bowling lane to bowl the games. So the $2 fee for shoe rental will be paid at 0 games played, because before you even play a game, you're going to have to rent those shoes. Now take a look at the try it. Prices for a different bowling alley are shown in the graph. How much does this bowling alley charge for shoe rental? So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look for the point where this line crosses the y-axis. Since each mark along the y-axis counts by 2, and the line is clearly intersecting between the 2 and the 4, we would assume that point is 3 on the y-axis. What is the x-coordinate for that point? It's always 0. So the y-intercept for that graph is 3. That's where it crosses the y-axis. What does that mean for this situation? Well, at this bowling alley, each pair of shoe, or the shoe rental for each pair of shoes, is $3. So $3 per shoe rental. Example 2 should look somewhat familiar. In this example, we're going to be looking at the y-intercept of a proportional relationship. A robotic assembly line manufactures a set number of parts per minute. Use a graph to verify how many parts the assembly line manufactures when it is first turned on. Step 1 says to predict the number of parts. The machine has not made any parts when it is first turned on, so the answer should be 0. Determine the number of parts manufactured at different intervals. Okay, so this is where I'm going to use this piece of information over here in the picture, which tells us at 1 minute, the machine has made 12 parts. That's this piece of information from the table. Okay, if the time is 1 and the parts manufactured is 12, then we can use that information to get other parts. For example, times 3 means 3 minutes and 36 parts, times 5 minutes and 60 parts, and times 8 means 8 minutes and 96 parts. But remember, before the machine is turned on, there were 0 parts manufactured and there had been no time that the machine was running. So that 0.00 is also a part of this data set. Step 3 is to plot the points and then draw a line to connect them. The y-intercept in this problem is 0, okay, because it passes through the origin. That agrees with the prediction that no parts are manufactured when the robotic assembly line is first turned on. It's only after it's been turned on for an amount of time that any parts are manufactured at all. You can see from the graph that they have plotted other points from that data table. 3:36 stands for 3 minutes and 36 parts. 5:60 stands for 5 minutes and 60 parts. And 8:96 stands for 8 minutes and 96 parts. Since this is a proportional relationship, it goes through the point 0, meaning for every single minute that that machine is running, it produces the exact same number of parts, beginning at 0 minutes and 0 parts. Example 3 is identifying the y-intercept by inspection. So in each of these 3 examples of graphs, you have a line that is already plotted on the grid. You'll notice that the line crosses both the x-axis and the y-axis at different places. So by looking at where each line crosses the y-axis, you can identify the y-intercept. In the case of the first graph, you'll notice that it crosses the y-axis at 2, which means the point is 0, 2, because the x number in that ordered pair is 0, and that means the y-intercept is 2. In the second graph, you have a y, or the line crossing the y-axis down here. This point is not labeled along that line, but if you look at how they are counting along those grid lines, you'll notice that each grid line stands for 1. So where it crosses the y-axis here is at -1, or the ordered pair 0, -1. And in the third graph, it crosses the y-axis at the origin, so the y-intercept is 0. Now I want you to try the 2 examples in the try it. Make sure that you look carefully at the grid lines and notice how they have numbered both the x and the y-axis. Remember that the y-intercept for each graph is the point where the line crosses the y-axis. In the first graph, the line crosses the y-axis at 2. So the point 0, 2 represents the ordered pair where that line crosses the y-axis, and the y-intercept in that point is 2. In the second graph, the point 0, -5/10 represents the point where that line crosses the y-axis. So the y-intercept in that graph is negative 5/10. The key concept is going to give you all of the helpful hints that you need in order to identify the y-intercept of any graph. The y-intercept is the y-coordinate of the point on the graph where the line crosses the y-axis. This is the main idea throughout the entire lesson. When the line crosses at the origin, okay, remember that the y-intercept is 0. This is the case where you have a proportional relationship, and it is right here in the very first graph example in the key concept. When the line crosses above the origin, then the y-intercept is positive. Okay, this line right here, let's see, I'm going to trace over that in blue, crosses above the origin, so therefore that has a positive y-intercept number. A line that crosses below the origin, okay, is going to have a negative y-intercept number. That's this one here in red. Okay. And once we see that it crosses below the origin point, below that 0, 0, then we know that the y-intercept is a negative value. Now let's take a look at solving some problems. Number 4, what is the y-intercept shown in the graph? Well, look at where the blue line is and determine where it crosses the y-axis. In this case, it crosses the y-axis at 0, so the y-intercept is 0. And what else do we know about this line? It must be a proportional relationship. Number 5, the graph shows the relationship between the remaining time of a movie and the amount of time since Kelly hit play. What is the y-intercept of the graph, and what does it represent? Well, let's take a look at the graph and the labels on the x and the y-axis. In this case, the y-axis is the time remaining in the movie. It crosses the y-axis at the point 0, 1 and 8/10. Okay, notice that each line along that y-axis, each mark, is an interval of 2/10. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, when the y-intercept is 1 and 8/10, it tells us that there is a length of a movie before we've watched any of it. Okay, so the time that we've watched it is 0. The time that we've watched it is 0, which means 1 and 8/10 has to be the length of the movie. In other words, the movie is 1 and 8/10 hours long. Now I'd like for you to try questions 6 through 10. Pause the video while you do that, and come back and check your answers when you're ready. We'll check them one at a time and go through any potential questions or problems that may arise during the process of solving them. Before we check answers on questions 9 and 10, let's go ahead and go through 6, 7, and 8. In problem 6, we look for where the line crosses the y-axis. In this case, it does not cross exactly on a grid line, but we can use the clues from the intervals on the y-axis to determine that it crosses that y-axis at the point 0, 7, which means the y-intercept is 7. Number 7, find the y-intercept of the graph. In this problem, the line crosses the y-axis here at 0, -4, which makes the y-intercept -4. Number 8, they've graphed the line y equals kx. It doesn't matter what k is because we're not looking for a slope this time. In this case, the y-intercept is 0 because the line passes through the origin. Now let's finish numbers 9 and 10. Since the time on the graph indicates when the balloon began to descend, the time at 0 tells us where the balloon was before it began its descent. In other words, at 0 minutes, the balloon was 80 meters high. So that's the height of the balloon when it began its descent. Number 10, the y-intercept is 0. Again, the line crosses the y-axis at the origin. That number represents the gas in the canister and the time 0 seconds. In other words, the gas canister was empty, it had no gallons of gas, when Joshua began to fill it. Remember, the time on that graph tells us the time when he began to fill it at the pump. So at the time 0, that's before he began to fill it, there was no gas in the canister. Now I'd like for you to try 11 through 14. Come back and check your answers. If you're still having trouble, come see me before you try your assignment. Number 11, Part A. The y-intercept of that line is 4 because it crosses the y-axis at the point 0, 4. Part B. What does the y-intercept represent? In this problem, the y-intercept represents that at sunrise, when the time is 0 hours after sunrise, the temperature was 4 degrees Celsius. Number 12. Your friend incorrectly makes this graph as an example of a line with a y-intercept of 3. Explain your friend's possible error. Well, if you look for a 3 on the graph, you'll notice that the line actually crosses the x-axis at 3, not the y-axis at 3. So my friend probably confused her x and y axes. Part B says to draw a line on the graph that does represent a y-intercept of 3. In this case, they don't give us any other direction and no other parameters. So we can draw any line we want as long as it goes through y at 3. And of course, hopefully your line's going to be straighter than mine, because my stylus doesn't like to draw straight lines. It just has to go through this point right there. Okay, so it's going to go through 0, 3. Now let's check questions 13 and 14. Check your answers to number 13. You should have gotten the y-intercept at -3 for the first graph and at +3 for the second graph. And last, let's check number 14. Don't forget that we're looking for the statements that describe the graph of a proportional relationship. And there are 2 correct answers. The line always crosses the y-axis at 0, 0, and the y-intercept is 0. See me if you have questions. Otherwise, you're ready to get to work.